What it do? It's your boy, Von Ganja, back with another review. And it is Ganjaween. Now come, children, let us go to the shelf and see what frights we have for tonight. No, no, no. Ooh, dogma. Oh, I think we found it. Yes, the destination. And tonight's review for Ganjaween is Final Destination. Alright, I am not doing the whole review like this. Hold on. I sound like Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. Alright, for real, what up, what it do? It's your boy Ganjaween back with another review. And thank you for tuning in to Blazing with Ganja, where we always blazing something amazing. And it's Ganjaween, so you know what that means. Final Destination. Final Destination came out around the year 2000. It was directed by James Wan, written by Glenn Morgan, and I think a guy named Jeffrey Riddick. They were actually writers, and James Wan was a director on X-Files, and they passed this idea around as a spec script. And then they figured, why not? Let's just make it into a whole movie instead of an X-Files episode. So James Wan jumped in the director's seat, directed his first horror movie, Final Destination. That's what we got. I think it was in the 9th grade when this came out. All anybody could talk about was the trailer, because the trailer was crazy and was such a crazy premise with like premonitions and everything like that. It just stood out. Especially, we were so still caught up in like slasher. So for something to come out different like this, where death takes the center stage and is the main character killing all the kids, it really stood out. All anybody can talk about around school, it was just so many whispers. You see a Final Destination trailer? Yeah, we gotta go see Final Destination. Final Destination. Final Destination is a cool movie, because I wouldn't necessarily, it's a horror movie. I'd say it's like a thriller. More fall in line with thriller to me. I would even go as far as to say Final Destination it will fall in line with certain franchises I call my franchise. My franchise would be like something you grew up with, or something that came out in your high school years, or something like that had a bunch of sequels and shit, and you just grew up on each one of them throughout the years and followed the story. So this is one. Final Destination falls in line with what I call one of my franchises. Every Final Destination opens with a big ass crazy accident. And don't get me wrong, this first Final Destination, you'll notice if you watch it, it's a much different movie than what follows. Because don't get me wrong, every Final Destination, it finds life throughout the franchise. And when we think back on the franchise, we think of all the big moments throughout the franchise, and we think of the franchise as a whole. This first Final Destination movie is very different in tone. It's a very serious movie, and death itself has much more of a presence throughout the movie, because they even on the sequels, they draw back from the death presence being so prevalent throughout the movie, and it's more like accidental things. But on this movie, death is more of a character that you even see in a few scenes, which I actually like. So every single Final Destination has a crazy opening. This opening is no joke. This set off the franchise. Of course, we have the plane crash. The movie starts off with, of course, Devon Sawa. He's the main character. His class. He has people in his class like Ali Larder. She plays Claire Rivers. They even have Sean William Scott. I think he plays Billy Hitchcock. Their class, and they're actually all in high school, and they go to Paris. Going to a trip in Paris in high school, it's crazy to me, but hey, we got a movie. So retouching on the premise that makes Final Destination stands out. When they get on the plane, our main character, Devon Sawa, he actually has a premonition and sees a vision of the plane crashing. Now, the crazy thing is, after the premonition, when he comes back, he starts noticing things that actually happen in the premonition. Like he's sitting on the plane, he actually touches some gum during the premonition. When he comes out of the premonition, he actually touches the gum again. So this lets him know and clues him in that things are real. He freaks out. A couple of other people get off the plane. Like I said, Ari Lauder playing Claire Rivers. She gets off the plane. His teacher gets off the plane. Sean William Scott gets off the plane. A few others. He's freaking out. They don't know what to fucking do. You know what I'm saying? They get kicked off the plane, even for real. I mean, I don't know what I'd do in this situation. I'd probably get off the plane too if some guy was freaking out in the fucking plane talking about the shit was gonna explode. I'll probably definitely get off. So once they get off the plane, one of the best parts of the movie, and they even showed it on the trailer, is as they're all fighting about if the plane is gonna explode or not, Sean William Scott is watching the plane take off in the background. You can actually see it's a nice long shot of them in the foreground talking and Sean William Scott in the background looking at the plane go off, and you see in the distance as the plane going off, it explodes, and then the shock wave shatters the glass by them in the airport. It's fucking nuts. I love that scene. Like I said, it was on the trailer. It was made the trailer stand out. After all that craziness, of course, they get interrogated by the FBI, which just starts following them and whatnot. A month goes by. They have a big memorial and whatnot, and then that night, things start happening to Devon Sawa's character. His name is actually Alex Browning on the movie. He starts getting clues. Something is helping him, which they don't actually touch on a lot during the franchise, but there's something helping him, which he has the premonition at first, and then he starts getting clues about the deaths. So the first clue is his best friend, Todd, which Todd's death stands out to me across the franchise because I think it's one of the meanest deaths. Like I said, this movie stands out to where it's a little different. It's a little meaner than the others. Death is a little visceral on this one. And that death, unlike many others across the franchise, is just so mean and gripping. He slips in the bathtub and get strangled, and then even like the blood vessels bursting in his eyes. That shit took me out the first time I saw it. Which leads me to, Alex is not one of the smartest characters. Do not get me wrong. He starts putting together things throughout the movie, but he starts doing things like showing up different places that the characters are dying and whatnot. And like I said, the FBI are starting to follow them, especially since he keeps showing up places. He's already said that a plane is about to explode, which exploded, and then the people start dying from off of the plane, and he keeps showing up to each one of their deaths. Yeah, he doesn't think everything through like he should. One of the biggest standout deaths across the entire franchise, a girl named Terry. Alex has another little vision, a clue. He sees a bus go by in a glass as they're all talking out in front of a coffee shop and whatnot, and Terry is fed up with all the death talk, so she cusses all of them out, and then she actually even steps into the street. And I'm not gonna lie, this bus death is probably still, to this day, the greatest jump scare I have ever seen on a movie. I went and saw this movie 3 times in the movie theaters. Each time I saw it, I looked across the theater, and the theater jumped a foot in their seat, like the whole theater, boom, every single time it happened. Watched this movie 2 nights ago with my girlfriend. She's seen it before. That part happened. She jumped. Greatest jump scare I've ever seen in my life because it's so unexpected. It comes out of nowhere, which leads to some of the best jump scares. And just another personal standout death to me is Miss Luton, because like I said, it's his teacher. It's mean. She's around that house, and like death is just following her all around that house, playing with little things around the house, which finally leads to her getting stabbed. She has the knife in her. She actually pulls the knife on her, which goes in her. There's a point when like the gas goes off and then the house like explodes. At one point, a chair falls over onto the knife. It's crazy. A part that I love on the movie, because at the time when we saw this movie, like I said, I was in the 9th grade. So yeah, the movie was a little scary. A part that I love is when they go visit Tony Todd, because they're looking for some answers. So they go visit Tony Todd. He plays a character named Bloodworth, and anybody who's anybody loves Tony Todd. He's Candyman, plus his voice is crazy. He'll say something like Claire, which is creepy. It's great. I like that at some point, even though I said Alex is not the best character, I did say he does start figuring things out. So he starts paying attention to the clues and starts figuring out, if I pay attention to the clues, I can start maybe preventing some of these deaths. He starts putting 2 and 2 together. And I mean, I guess in that kind of situation, you would, if this would start happening to you, and you would see it right in front of you. But I do like that he starts putting things together and he starts trying to help these kids. Like there's a scene on the train tracks where Carter, the dickhead boyfriend, he drives over the tracks and he parks there for some dumbass reason because he believes like it's not his time. But then like I said, Death is a little mean, so Death holds him there. You know what I'm saying? Because Death wants him to get hit by an oncoming train. But Devin Sawa sees the seatbelt break, so he's able to pull him out before the train hits. That's when he figures out that he can save people, which skips over Carter. Then he figures out, so then if it skips over somebody, if I save somebody, it'll just skip over somebody. But then again, what would that lead to? It actually leads to coming to him. So during the finale, he goes and locks himself up in a cabin, which leads to a pretty funny part in the movie. Like I said, him trying to prevent death. So he locks himself in the cabin to get away from everybody. In the cabin, he actually figures out, though, that skipping over Carter actually goes to Claire. So he has to run out of the house and go find Claire, which leads to some fun in the woods. He goes to the house, saves Claire, whatnot. The finale, I guess you could say it's pretty fun. It's short and sweet, but it's pretty fun because it's like, I think the movie's only like 93 minutes. So it's actually, like I said, short, sweet. The finale wraps up pretty nicely. Even when we watched it the other night, my girlfriend was like, damn, it kind of ended pretty quick. Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing. This was like I said, the year 2000. It's a short little horror movie. I don't mind it. Now, I think the ending. I'm still not sure if the ending scene is the best in the franchise, but I do love it. It got a kick in the movie theater when it happened. In the movie, it starts to build up a lore of like, all right, well if it skipped you, all right, who's it going to next? So that's a little like playfulness in the movie of like, well, you're next, and then it jumps around. So by the end of the movie, you're thinking, Devin Sawa is thinking it's him. So then some stuff starts falling and whatnot. A big ass sign falls. It's coming for Devin Sawa. Carter pushes Devin out the way. He's like, well, you just saved me. Well, if it isn't you, then who is it? He looks up, and this sign swings back and hits him and takes him out. I loved it in the theater. So yeah, that's Final Destination 1. And trust me, look guys, I know that the Ganjaween is a little late, but my job sucks. I work so much. So Final Destination 2 will be to you very soon, probably in the next few days, because we already watched it. We just got to get the review done, get it out the way, get it to you guys. I love you. Thanks for joining me. Ganjaween is going down. Join me for the next costume, for the next video. Please like and subscribe. And guys, I would like to do this full time. Help me get out of work, guys. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notifications if you can.